Hey, Railbirds, welcome to the 2025 Battle of the Bull. This is the one pocket division. We are in the first round. We have Brandon Shuff versus Teddy Garrahan. That was Brandon at the table now, scratching on the break. He's going to start off 0-1, and we have a special guest commentator, the one, the only Mr. T-Rex, Tony Chohan. I'm going to go ahead and turn over the microphone to Tony. Go ahead, Tony.
Thanks. So we're here for the Battle of the Bull 2025, and that's Teddy just got ball in hand after Brandon scratched on the break. Unlucky right there he wasn't really playing the right power on the position there, so he kind of ran right into the ball and got hooked. A little bit of back noise. Nice little cross bank, held it. Now, for those that didn't know Teddy, but Teddy was a really good player and took a lot of time off and back at it again now, and looks like he's still playing great as he once did. For those of you wondering why I am not there, I have a doctor's appointment tomorrow, so it's one that I've been waiting on for a while to try to help hopefully get a little bit better with my condition that I've had. So other than that, I would have loved to have been here to play and not be doing commentary, but actually playing. But maybe next year. I believe he's going to shoot the 8 and try to come out on top to play for the 5. I think he rolled it a little too far there. I would have used a little bit of high right so he comes out fuller out on top, and that way he doesn't have to worry about coming in and hooking himself behind that 8 ball, it looks like, or the 6 ball. I think he's going to try to bank here and just kind of hold his ball right behind the 7. Good little bank. He didn't put enough inside on it to grab it. He was more worried about the cue ball in that spot. But he's in a good position. Only shot I really see here for Brandon is to kick. Now, he's got a pretty good shot to kick, like going the other way, coming down from the long rail, kicking 2 rails to the bottom side of the 3 and try to bank it over, because this ball is such a small ball that he has to really come in behind it in order to get there. And I'm not so sure that on this table that even if you hit the 3 behind it that you're not going to end up. So he just ended up making the ball, more or less. Well, we got the ball count right now is 4-0 Teddy at the moment. And Brandon still owes 1. Now, Teddy's got to be careful and kind of play the ball count here at this point. So if he wanted to, I would probably 2-rail the ball away and try to hit like maybe the top side of the stack a little, just to push the 11 and the 14 open a little bit. Now, you got to kind of play the ball count in these spots, but there's a lot of other options where he could shoot, but it's all about knowing whether or not you can control your cue ball. For me, I might bank the 2 ball here and use a little bit of low inside, so I draw straight back and come back to the side of the 7. That way, I don't really leave no bank, and I have like a free bank at the 2. So if I make the 2, I'm going to have a chance to run out off the 5. Most guys aren't never looking at kind of the stuff that I'm looking at in that spot. Like I said, he's playing the safe route, but this isn't really safe because he has no threats on his side of the table. So he moving that ball didn't really do nothing, because for Brandon, he might as well shoot at his hole here, being down 4-0 in the ball count, or 4-1, I should say. He can kind of shoot the 6. He can shoot the 7 ball 2 rails if he wanted to. Now Brandon's electing to just keep. I didn't really care for that because he opened up balls for Teddy's side of the table now. Had he not done that, Teddy didn't really have no balls that went to his hole from that stack. So he kind of opened it up, and now he's giving Teddy too much options, as far as, but, Brandon's feeling like he's behind, but that wasn't the right play at that time, in my opinion. And Teddy's going to do exactly what Brandon's allowing him to do now at this point. He's moving the balls away from the down table and taking them up table now. I like maybe just crossing the 8 here with a little bit of high inside and running the cue ball to the backside of the 2 balls up table. Kind of just use a little bit of a high inside ball. And this way you're putting your opponent to the test because he might get hooked where he can't see the 2. So just like that, good shot. Especially now because those balls are hidden now. Now he's got no chance to get to those balls. So the real only shot that I really see for him at this point is think more on the lines of controlling the cue ball at this point. For me, could he shoot the combo? Yeah, but he would give up the game. So in this point, he's really supposed to try to bank or play the cue ball off the 13, just pulling the cue ball straight down. Let the 13 maybe rub the 5 a little bit, and let the cue ball just kind of drift down slowly but surely towards Brandon's hole. He's looking at shooting at the combo, but the problem is he shoots the combo, the 7's going to float over towards Brandon's hole. Now he's looking to just bank the 5 and probably stick the cue ball right there. Or he's shooting the shot that I said. Let's see which way he goes. Okay, he just controlled the cue ball instead. Good shot, nothing wrong with it. Only thing for Brandon is now Brandon can still do the same thing. I think, at least. Like to use a little bit of a kind of a jacked up stroke and hit it really thin with low and a lot of right, and let it go to the end rail and kind of drift down behind those balls a little bit. Just like that. If he got a little bit more drift, it would have been better, but I think he's okay because I don't believe that Teddy can see the full 11 ball here. So he can't really get to those backside of those balls. So Teddy's in a little bit of a spot now. See which way he looks to go here. For me, I might just have to take an intentional foul a little bit if he can't see that full ball. Oh, he could see the full ball. No, that was fine right there. Good play. It didn't hit it too hard and didn't lose the cue ball or nothing like that. So good soft roll. Now, if I'm Brandon, I'm going to keep on coming towards my pocket a little bit. This would be a good spot to kind of use like a stun follow and punch it towards the backside of those balls again up table, and so you don't cut the 8 too much. You just shoot the 8 into the 1 or the 6. So it banks back towards the 1 or the 6. You open those up and you put a little more threat. So he drew it too much, so now he gives up the ball. So he should have worried more about just where the cue ball was going because he cut way too much. He was trying to make the 2 or the 8 instead of trying to just use the natural, thicker version of hitting the ball. Good stroke, good pocketing. I think just a little bit of high inside, just come straight back across for the 2, make the 5. He needs 2 balls. I don't know, he must think that he can't get. There he goes. Just didn't hit it quite hard enough, but he still got there. These are the shots you really bear down on because you know that if you miss it, it's going to be very bad. So game number 1 goes to Teddy, and it's Teddy's break now. So Teddy played a good snug game. Brandon unlucky on the break. Got behind and was down and gave up the cue ball in hand, and Teddy kind of ran a few balls there and kind of put the dampers on Brandon from there. A lot of good players here. We'll have some select matches coming. I'll be doing the 7 o'clock round, which is this round right now, and then I believe we'll have another round at 10 o'clock too. So stay tuned in. Go to Railbirds TV, and we'll post a link every time we get a chance to, as soon as we know what matches we'll be doing. So I see a lot of people. Let's see how he breaks the balls and where he comes from, as far as is he going to break from the left side of the table, the right side of the table? Does he use high English, low English? And the push factor. A lot of people don't really realize that when you're breaking the balls, you can use high or low. It's the matter of the amount of English you're putting on the ball and pushing through and making sure you hit the one and the first and second ball at the same time. So right-handers usually break from the other side. I usually break from this side. Just sometimes you get a better spread, it seems like. So that's a pretty good break right there. It's going to be very hard for Brandon to get out of this break in a way. Not many options. The only option I really see is him banking the 5, letting the cue ball go straight through the same path as where he banks the 5. So the 5 is going to hopefully hit the 8 or the 2. I believe it's a 2 over there, or the 4. Okay, it's the 4 ball, looks like. And he can kind of put some power on it and follow it with just a little high and let the cue ball kind of go over to that area too. Only other play I see here is kicking 4 rails to the backside of these 2 balls down here. You come in real short, use a lot of English, and let it kind of drift down there. Actually, I mean, you know what? The 2 ball looks like it banks straight across. It looks like he just doesn't really know if it looks like he could follow the 2 straight through with a little bit of power. And he could possibly make the 2. Not sure what he's so hesitant about here. But it really looks like it's good. Yeah, he's definitely going to shoot at it. I'm almost sure of it. I think you'd be crazy not to shoot at it, especially since you can kind of stick the cue ball a little bit if you need to. So he went that route. I don't know if I like that, because the way the 3/8's sitting kind of looks like you might be able to get thrown down into the hole. I think if Teddy overcuts this ball, I think he's gonna make it for sure. If he hits it full, it looks like it might not go, but I think if you overcut it, it's better. See? Yeah. Had he overcut it, I think that ball would have gone. Good cue ball nonetheless, but now he kind of messed up his hole because the 8 blocked off those balls now. So what he thought was good ended up being bad in a way, really. It's not bad. Brandon's kind of clogging up his bank lanes here. Good smart move there. Now, if I'm Teddy, I'm gonna. This is a perfect chance for him to open them balls up. So what he's supposed to do is use a low right hand ball, hitting 9 into the 12, pushing the 8 over to the hole, letting the cue ball kind of drizzle and come over to the side of the backside of the rack. You have to get those balls open. So Brandon kind of left. I mean, he could have hit it a little bit harder than that. It's still not bad, but definitely could have hit it a little harder than that. Now, if I'm Teddy here, I'm going to bank the 8 or bank the 4, I believe that is. I'd bank the 4 with high and a touch of inside, so I'd overbank it, not like I'm trying to make it, but just to place it on my side of the table and let the cue ball kind of run over by the 1. Just make sure it doesn't go past the 1. So you play more of the cue ball, you don't really worry about where the balls end up being, more or less. But you got to make sure it's on that long rail over there. Just like that. Good speed. Maybe hitting it a little bit lighter than that, but good speed. Let's see. I like to just go ahead and I think he's supposed to kick at the bottom side of this 2 ball instead, or the 4 ball. Instead of shooting it that way. I don't really like that play there. He's more worried about the cue ball in that spot, which it's not bad, but it wasn't the greatest move there. He was playing more just the cue ball more than anything, but let's see what Brandon does in this spot back. For me, I see the only play as being Brandon kind of got to use a high follow and just bank the 1 over towards his pocket, but carry the cue ball on the same line. See how he hit it kind of a little fat? Now he ends up selling out the ball. So he was so worried about cutting the ball that he didn't worry about the cue ball more. And there was a spot where he needed to worry about the cue ball. This isn't going to look good for Brandon here because Teddy's going to be able to run some balls here for sure. I think the best way for Teddy here is to just use a high ball, thin cut the ball, go straight up. Just make sure he doesn't hit it too fat. You know, put a little bit of there. See how he hit it a little too thin. That's way, and he used the outside English. So the outside English kind of just threw him off. I like going all the way up the table in between the 2 stripe balls, the 10 and the 11, it looks like, and going back down a little bit that way. Because if worst case scenario, if you don't come back down, you at least have those 2 as an option also. Not on top of the 1 where it was just at. He would have had a chance to cut that ball, worst case scenario. So one thing that a lot of these guys don't do that I'm seeing so far is he could kick, you know, like he can kick behind the 4 and kind of kick it out. Let's see what he does here. I think he's more or less looking at the 1 to kind of go 2 rails around, which I don't like that. Let's see. I don't like this play. He's just worried about the cue ball a lot. Nothing wrong with it, but I think at some point this can become bad if you don't. I think he would have been better off to move a ball away there in that spot. He's keeping him snugged up on the rack, though, so he's not able to, like, push balls towards his hole either. Now, Brandon kind of gave up a bank here. Now, the best thing about this for him is I'm going to use a high left ball. I might go up towards the high top left corner and just play the cue ball up that way. So now you're playing the cue ball more, just like he was playing the cue ball before. Let's see if he tries to hit it harder or if he follows. Okay, he used like a center ball, but he played his cue ball more than anything, and nothing wrong with that. But obviously, when you start getting the pace on the cue ball to push over that way, you're not getting the same cut. You end up cutting too much. You end up cutting too less. So a lot of this comes into play when you shoot these banks and the angles you're using to shoot the banks. Not sure he could have got the cue ball there had he not cut it as much as he did either. So, or he would have had to pick up the pace a lot and might have changed the direction of the cue ball. Kind of like using a little bit of a high inside and overcutting. That was a good shot there. I didn't think that he could go straight at it like that. Very good shot, very good cue ball, and got the right angle cut on it and made it. I think for Brandon here, he's kind of got to go for this cut for the simple fact that just play the pace on the ball more than anything. Make the ball. Don't worry about the rest. Brandon's a very good shooter, so this would be a good spot for Brandon to use a high ball and hope that you don't get no bad kisses off of the three or something like that. Because he'll have a few options up there. So if he can get in between the three and the, I don't think he could back up the cue ball, but that's what he's kind of looking at. And if that's the case, if he backs it up, that means there's a possibility to miss the ball, I would think. Because he's got to hit it too good and too crisp. I think just using a high ball is your best option here. No inside, no outside, just straight high ball. Just cut at the ball, just use some pace. Perfect. That's what I was worried about right there, was that little bit of kiss if he did catch it. But he's still got a shot. Now he's going to have to kind of just, it's one of those shots you kind of just pocket the ball, but you don't let the cue ball get all the way down there. And the reason being because if you miss, you might give up the 4 type of shot. But if he's got a whole pocket and he feels like he's confident about making the ball, then I would shoot it and shoot it kind of hard. Good pocket. Well, he was confident about it because he let the cue ball get down there, which is going to help him run some balls here now. Right here is where I like to use I like to just go shoot the 2 and try to come out right there where he's looking at right about now. It's a good enough to where you can cut that 5 in and don't have to worry about nothing. If he makes the 5, he's going to run out too because the balls are sitting open on that side. So he's going to get a perfect cue ball that way too. All of that that's too much pace, and he went right through it. I like to shoot that ball with a little bit of extra outside English. Hit it slower so when it hits the rail, it grabs and pulls out. The fact that he didn't grab and pull out, he wouldn't have no English on it. He was just almost kind of like a center ball. Now he might still be able to make this 1. I don't know. He's lining up at it. I don't know if he's trying to shoot the 1 or he's shooting the 12. So he a little bit thin on it, but good cue ball. And we have a ball count of 4-1 Brandon. And Teddy's in a little bit of a spot now. Only shot I really see here is possibly shooting the cue ball if he can see the left side of the 7 here. Okay, instead he's gonna shoot the 11 ball hard into the 1, hoping to pull him out, and then let the cue ball kind of draw straight, just like that. Very good shot. Very good shot. Right angle and good cue ball, like good speed and everything. Didn't like smack it super hard. You know, most people hit it so hard they don't even understand. You know, just because you hit it hard doesn't mean that the ball's going to move, and just because you hit it soft doesn't mean the ball's going to move out of there either. So you got to kind of have that good, little decent speed on it and good angle that you shoot too. So that's a good. Balls are kind of messed up and kind of clumped up for both sides in a little bit. I mean, balls are open if you get in the right spots, but they're kind of clustered up. I think that he's looking at a 3-reeler here and trying to just kind of hold the cue ball, but that might not be the best option either. I would think he was just going to come off the 1, maybe push it over, or possibly shoot the. I like shooting maybe the 13 and the 5 away, and then just kind of stopping your cue ball possibly. But I guess some bad could happen there, so the 6 could open. That's what he's kind of looking at right now. So the thing is, if he shoots the 7, he can't let the cue ball go too far down, but he can't stop the cue ball either, because if he does, there's a good chance that Brandon could shoot the 13-5 combo. I like this. This is the most safest play here. I would have liked to seen him hit it a little bit harder than that, but that's not bad there. Now the way the ball sit, he could possibly shoot the 7 off the 1 if the angle is created to hit the 7 off the 1, either to the 7 off the bottom side of the 1 and play it over and let the cue ball kind of drift over there. He's electing to move this ball. Let's see what he does. Okay, it's not terrible. Teddy's looking to see if he can. He's looking to see if he could play the 14 off the 13 is what he first looked at. Instead, now he's just going to stop the cue ball and kind of send the. He's going to cut the 14 kind of thin off the 13. Just kind of send the 13 up table and let the 14 come thin, maybe hitting the 4 a little bit. He doesn't need to hit it hard and just worry about the cue ball and just push the cue ball in there. I think more or less, see, it's not bad, but why not move it a little more so it's not on the man's side of the table? Not bad. With the 1 ball being there, there's not going to be a whole lot of long rail banks unless hit really good. So now I think he's looking to see if he can bank the 6 and kind of draw his cue ball and kind of pull it straight back and back to the other side, Brandon's table. There you go. See? Not bad. He got a little bit of a little graze, but there's nothing wrong with that. 5 ball maybe possibly gave up a bank there. This is a shot where he could shoot the 5 and kind of let the cue ball run to the bottom rail with a lot of high inside and run into the bottom of the 1 or run straight into the ball on the rail, which looks to be the 6, I think. So he was able to catch a little more of it and not have to run the ball. So that was not a bad shot there. I think in this spot you're trying to just want to kind of move those balls away. I think he's just going to end up thinning the 1 and kind of doubling up the balls. I know. Okay. Good angle and good shot. So now if I'm Teddy, I'm going to shoot the 13 and cut it into the 11 a little bit so they move both the balls away and onto my side of the table. The 13 comes off the 11, then goes to the rail and pushes out any balls, and I let the cue ball go to the side long rail and then back down. Like that, but still left a little bit of an angle, but I think he's okay here. Now, if Brandon can see the 1, I wouldn't mind sending my man up table, but I don't think he could. So Brandon's more focused on moving balls up table now since Brandon has a 5-1 ball count. Teddy's starting to set him up table too. Might be in for a little bit of a long game here. Well, let's see. If I'm Brandon, I might just thin it with like a little bit of low right. Like I'm banking it up table, but I'm not really shooting it hard enough, so I'm just cutting. Okay, that's fine. Pushing balls and pushing them away from the other man's side of the table. Now, if I'm Teddy, I'm going to try to jack up and shoot the 13 into that other strike ball, which is a 14, I believe, come to the side rail and back down. So this way now, you're putting a lot of see, now that right there shows you the one pocket nature of some people sometimes not thinking right there. Like, because here's the difference. Let's say if he moves the ball up table. Well, your opponent's just going to move that other ball up table and just push you back down on the back rail. All he's got to do is hit it just with a little bit of draw and push you down. Now all the balls be up table, and there's a distance. Now you have to cross. You have to do things to try to get the cue ball in a safer spot. Brandon hit that ball good. Got a little unlucky somewhat. I think the 12-3 might have lined up a little bit on the right side, kind of in a good spot for him. He can do that, or he can shoot the 1. Only problem with the 1 is you might give a guy a little bit of hope as far as like being behind in the ball count and leaving that lane open. The guy might bank at that ball that's up table right by Brandon's arm. But instead, this is good right here. So I like that, but I would have liked to have stopped my cue ball there instead. Now, if I'm Brandon, I might just bank this 2 ball and just kind of let my cue ball run a little bit over. Or you can shoot it hard and cut this 14 ball in. Just whatever, more preference. Playing for 1 here. Hit it thick. And that comes down to the pace right there also. He was more worried about not scratching, but he should have been overcutting and hitting with a little bit harder pace. Then he wouldn't have to worry about missing the ball as much. So this is what I mean by the distance. See, now it makes it a lot harder, whereas no matter what Brandon does for the most part, there's going to be a shot for Teddy now, whether it be a bank of some sort or whatever. Okay, that's my point right there. Because if the angle wasn't right, he couldn't get to the bottom side of the 1. So that's what happens in that kind of a spot. I think in this spot he's supposed to more worry about. He might have a little bit of a bank lane, and that's what he's looking at it right now. And if he does, he's kind of got to go for it. He needs all the balls. It's kind of a spot where you're kind of in a do-or-die situation, but the balls are sitting very right that if you do make this bank, you can run some balls now. It's almost like worthy of going. Problem is how hard he might possibly have to hit it. I'd be more worried about just trying to get out in this spot, especially knowing that the balls are kind of open a little bit now. I think the bank's a smarter play, using a little bit of don't worry about the cue ball so much, and you know what I mean. It's kind of a game changer, let's say. Guess he's going to try playing some more moving and kind of send the balls away. All right, so he put that distance down again. So let's see what Brandon's right now should be thinking. One of the thoughts I would think about is maybe cutting the 6 and playing the natural angle to come one rail. I don't really want to move this ball unless I'm doubling up those balls, and that's what he should be more worried about. See, now he didn't double it up, so now you do give up the option. Now this bank is there regardless.
And if I'm Teddy, I would have to go for this bank at this point.
Don't think he had enough English on the ball, but good cue ball regardless. Sometimes you got to also think about whether the cloth is new, and that's going to depend on how the banks hit and speed-wise. Boy, he hit that one really thin. I don't know if that's what he was intending to do there. I highly doubt he was. But he hit that one very thin, and he can cut this ball in, so he can come back up table. He's going to use a lot of low, extreme outside English. Cut this ball in and try to get to the backside of any of those balls up there. I wouldn't even be trying to hold it for the 4 or the 12. I'd be trying to get behind the 6, the 14, or the 1. I guess preferably the 14. Worry about making the ball, using a lot of extreme and hitting it. So, yeah, he's hitting it so slow. He's not playing for run out. He's playing more or less for the 1, I guess, in that spot, which to me doesn't make sense in that spot. I would think that, you needing 7 balls in that spot, I do believe he could have made the ball, and it was a lot easier than what he made it out to be. This is kind of a shot right here that he kind of needs to hit the 7 into the 12 a little and just kind of float. Instead, he's coming off the 14. Not sure if he's got the angle to bank here. I don't think he does. But he can play a slow roll bank towards his hole. And the other problem is Teddy kind of just moved those balls, and those 3 balls are kind of messed up on his side now. I like kind of slow rolling the bank and just kind of leaving the bank on the short rail down here by my pocket. Just putting 1 ball down here is fine. It's okay. He's elected to cross it, but problem is he kind of didn't hit it hard enough, and I think he can bank at this 2 ball. I mean, he really can't hold it, but more free shots, especially knowing that you're behind 7-2 in the ball count. This one, I think he could use kind of a high and a little bit of a right English, and hit it like half ball. So when the cue ball comes to the rail, it just kind of drifts off into the side with that slide from the English. But we're watching a couple guys playing really conservative, so they're not going for those types of shots. But I think you got to kind of play the ball count, and when you do have an opportunity to shoot at your hole, you're supposed to, I believe. My motto is there's not much of a difference if you lose a game in 1 hour or if you lose it in 5 minutes. Give yourself a chance to win sometimes. It's a good cut there. It came back a little bit fat. Now, if he kick banks this up table, I'm going to be really sick. But because the right move here is honestly just crossing it and trying to just make the ball, you know, and get. So he hit it really thick, and cue ball very close to scratching. Teddy's looks like he's going to be the grinder. Looks like he's looking to do one ball at a time here. I don't like that shot there. I would think that he could have kicked it up table behind it. He could have crossed over it. I don't think that was one of the best options for Brandon there either. He's going to cross this ball. Same thing. He's hitting it very fat, and he's using that English so much that doesn't really have a lot of speed, so he's getting a fatter cut, and he's not getting the English to pull back. So here he should use high and a little bit of left-hand English, and they're kicking it back to his side of the table. Now let's see if Teddy goes for this bank, because in a way he kind of got to go for this bank, I would think. Use high with a little bit of left. Just kind of hit the angle, drizzle it over, let the cue ball go kind of 2 rails around. You don't have to hit it hard. Good stroke. Kept it down for the most part. So instead of crossing this ball, let's say here, just kick behind it and push it up table. Okay, not bad. Problem sometimes with those shots that if you hit it too a little too thick, the cue ball might come back and scratch in the side or in the corner sometimes. So sometimes you may risk yourself. Nice hit there. See, I think Brandon will probably try to bank the 2 here. Not sure how close it is to the rail or if it's possible to go. Double kissed it. Luckily, he didn't give up nothing. Now Teddy's going to come off. Yep, he's going to come right off of that. I can already tell just because of the patientness in him. Problem is he's patient, but he's still giving up a shot sometimes. Some of those banks. Here I'd focus more on the cue ball than anything. Like hitting it fuller. Just like that. That way you know your cue ball is going to follow through and it's not going to come over by the 6 or the 1. Good shot by Brandon. You don't always have to make the shot, but sometimes you have to worry about how the cue ball is going and where the movement is. It's a good shot there. Now I believe Brandon can shoot at this bank and let his cue ball kind of run into the 1. So you draw it with a little bit of low right-hand English and you can pull the ball and you can shoot it kind of hard. So that way if it doesn't go, it goes back up table. And you push the 1. So you want to hit this side of the 1, obviously. So you want to hit it kind of fat. Low with a touch of right. Let's see, and let the cut do it, and just there it is. Gin. Hit it with the right speed and got the good cut. and let the English do its job. Speed, cut, English. Please like, share, subscribe. Railbirds TV, bringing you the content, bringing you the good commentators, and we appreciate y'all. So Brandon's, the score is 1-1. Brandon's gonna break now, and it is 1-1 going to 3. Wolfsden's putting on a good tournament. I believe it's like $45,000 added, 10,000 added one pocket, 35,000 added to the 9-ball. Stacked field in both events. More so the 9-ball than anything. 128 players in the 9-ball. I haven't really seen too many names of mediocre players. Everybody's a great player. Just, it's going to be another one of those kind of like the tournament that just happened in Florida. So, a lot of big name pros and coming around because they have the U.S. Open and they had a lot of events going back to back to back. So it's good when coordination happens, you see more players show up around the areas. Good break. Not a whole lot opened up, but that's not always a bad thing either. He's in a little bit of a tough spot here. This is kind of one of those things. He can kick to the backside of it, but you got to kind of kick at it at a slow speed, so that way you don't scratch. I kind of like this, what he's looking at. You can kind of just use a soft speed coming off the 7 and come to the top, the long rail to the backside of the 11 and kind of knock it out. You don't have to hit it hard, just play the angle more than anything. But I guess maybe it's not there, or maybe he can't hit, maybe he has to hit it too fat. Let's see. Now, if you really can use your high and your right hand English and really have a feel for things, you can come in and hit it a little thicker and know that you're coming to the backside of that ball. I kind of like kicking just one rail up top, just to make sure that, hey, if you do give up a shot, you don't. It doesn't have to be as bad, or you don't. I don't know. He's going to take the intentional scratch there. Not too bad. I think it's kind of unlucky for him in a way because it looks like he could shoot the 8 into the 5 and then kind of like leave the cue ball there, but I don't know how close he is to the 8. And I guess he probably couldn't reach it from there, so he's probably going to take a scratch back, but this is actually going to work for Teddy and Teddy's favorite if he takes a scratch back, because now he can kind of kick at the bottom side of the 11. So this is going to help him get out of this trap. I think he needs to look, and it doesn't look like he's looked at that side. He needs it. He's taking scratches again. So he's on 2 now. Now, if I was Brandon, I'm going to put him right back, like right on the 1, maybe, possibly. Because if he doesn't make a good hit, he's going to lose the game. I think Brandon's kind of worried about the wrong things here because they are playing 3 foul, and this is kind of one of the spots that the guy couldn't take a foul back, so he would have to either kick out of it or he would sell out. Or he possibly might scratch off the ball, so then he would lose. So if he did try kicking at the ball. So I think it's kind of one of those spots where he needs to kind of really pay attention to what's going on as far as the, in this spot. Okay, so there's nothing wrong with that, but I think now he kind of lets him out in a way. I think Teddy more or less should be worried about making sure he makes a good hit. I think a good shot might possibly be shooting the 5 and kind of shooting it to the top rail behind the 11 so it crosses over. But let's see. Let's see which way he goes. I think he's... I don't like that. Because he's going to give up the 8 here. Oh, well, let's see where this ball lines up. Looks like it's going to line up in Teddy's favor, so it's going to lock the cue ball up on him. So he got a really, a little good roll there. You got a heck of a roll there. Yeah, you got a really good roll there. He called froze to the deuce, so I think he's going to try to push through the ball here and maybe push through the ball and kind of push it back into the stack, possibly.
Majority of the tickets, so he actually won. Patrick, come on up. Patrick. Well, you had a 1 in 5 shot. You should win.
Not bad. Not great, but not bad. Now he's looking to see if maybe the 13-10-2 possibly goes. I'm not sure if it does or not. If it does, he might hammer the 7-13-10-2. He's looking at it pretty good. It might possibly go. Oh, he's shooting at it. Now, this is one of those shots when you're going for it, you make sure you get yourself another shot. You don't worry about the cue ball more than anything. Oh, boy. Let's see if he gets a cut still. Kind of a little close to the ball. I think he's got enough to where he can kind of cut it. It's a really nice... I would have let the cue ball pull through the stack a little more or draw it back a bit, just a bit, not a whole lot, but I think he's okay. I think he can still make it. I see the ball hanging in his hole. Can we see the replay again? Let's see this replay again. Okay, I see what happened. Okay. So the ball hung up afterwards. All right, so now we're going to get a cross here. I'm not sure why he's not going ahead and cutting and yeah, I mean, with the ball hanging, you should probably cut it. I mean, he could almost just draw out of it, I would think, or he can push it a little bit harder. Let's see. I think he would have rather shot with the cut than shooting that ball if he was going to shoot it and give up a shot and not, because here's what's the best that could have came out of it if he did make one and da 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 da. Got a good little stroke on the ball there. Now he's kind of got a shot here where he's got to shoot the 7 and come straight through the balls. Nice, easy pace. Now let's see if he gets rewarded. Drawing. I didn't feel comfortable with what he just did there. I mean, you got a lot of balls open. You kind of got to make sure you get out on top or behind the 2. The bank's not there really. Like, I mean, it's there, but if you miss it, you know, I mean, Teddy's going to win the game. I mean, I guess now he's just going to end up just kind of banking it and pushing the 8 in, I would think. No, he went for it. Now, this is where you're supposed to lose for doing that. You know, because you're kind of giving up, you know, that's another one of those things with the pace. You know, you got to kind of hit it harder because he's more worried about holding the cue ball to make the next ball. So he kind of was trying to hit it too soft, and he's not holding the ball for the bank. Now, if I'm Teddy here, I'm going to use I would use a high left-hand ball come from the top side long rail, and then let it hit and kind of drizzle over below. So you want to make sure you catch majority of the 8, so you hit it slower so it comes out to this side of the table for the 2 and the 4. It would go 2 rails from the long rail, 1 rail, 2 rails to the short rail, and come back out. I like that angle better because if he gets on the right side of the 4 ball is what it looks like, well, he gets to run right into the 1 then and break those open. So, I mean, he can run out from here, you know. This is kind of a – let's see what he does. Let's see. I like it if he goes to the long rail. Oh, no, he's – yeah, that's – I mean, nothing would have been bad about that had he, you know. Now he's kind of got himself in a little pickle because not only does he have to make this ball, I mean, Brandon could possibly bank at the 2 if he wanted to. I don't think Brandon would go for the bank at this point just for the fact, but that's a spot where you're supposed to run a few balls, you know, making sure you know where you're getting and giving yourself an option to at least be able to run another ball is big, you know, and that's kind of where he didn't allow himself another. Now, this is a good shot because he titty hooked him behind that ball. Now the 2 ball comes into play for Teddy all the time now. So it's kind of hard to play safe, and I mean, he's got to kind of come off the 8 and then back down more or less. All right, so ball count now is 4-0, yeah. I think he's looking at coming off the 12 or possibly the 5. Yep, 12. All right, not a bad shot. Good cue ball. Got it back down. I believe they'll start to send these balls up table now. I'd like to bank this ball into the 2 and draw my cue ball straight back into the same position. Just like that. Good shot. That ball hung up there. But he did make one in the side, so that'll spot back up. Now for Brandon, that's a good thing the ball hung up in a way because now it's a ball out of play. Now Teddy's going to shoot the bank. I like to bank this ball into the 9 if he could have possibly. Now Brandon might have a chance to go for 2 rails or just play the cue ball kind of up table. We'll see what he elects to go through. Looks like Brandon's going to go for it. And he hit it decent, not bad. And got a little kiss. So let's kind of see where he goes from here. If he can see the back rail behind the 1, I don't mind him kicking kind of softly at the 1. Okay, he's going to come off the 3 and just kind of stick him behind the 1. Okay, that's not bad. Good cue ball. And the best part is the 3 comes into, he can make the 3 and Brandon can't. So the balls are kind of lined up towards his hole. Bad cue ball. He didn't really worry about the cue ball there. Now, here goes Teddy's going to get another opportunity now. Now, here's going to be the thing. You need to use a little bit of low and a little bit of right, but hit it kind of soft and let it push straight through. Above. Just like that. There you go. Now, as he pulls this 12, he should be pulling the 12 back to get a little straight on the 6. All right, so now I like him to just pull it back, cue ball just a little bit, leave himself a little bit of an angle. All right. Now I think he's going to go forward for the 1 ball bank because he didn't leave himself a big enough angle. Two ball fell down on accident, so they were looking to put that ball back in play up table. Now let's see if he's going to power it or if he's going to play the combo, the bank. Yeah, he powered it. He didn't really power it as much as he could have possibly, I think. Now that shot right there is the one that he had to make sure he made there. He didn't get the best of angles on this 1 ball bank, so this could make it a little suspect here of whether or not he goes for the bank. If he goes for the bank, he can possibly lose the game. So it's one of those shots that you need to jack up and shoot it with a lot of English and kind of just I thought he hit it good, but he also, look, as you see where the cue ball's at, I don't think he got to the best spot he probably could have off that rail, honestly, and still able to make the ball. So now Teddy's playing for 2. Keep a nice. That was all about the speed there. He would have had a chance to open it up. So Teddy's up 6-4 in the ball count. Scores 1-1 in the match, and we've got a little bit of a ball game here now. Brandon was up 4-0, 4-1, I believe, or 4-2 at one point. And that's kind of one of the things is like, when you get the ball count, you got to kind of play a little bit more statistically, I would say. And he kind of played a little careless, And then Teddy also played a little careless back because he had an opportunity to run some balls earlier and didn't. But at least on the second go-around when he got the option, he was able to do so. Now, you don't always get those options twice, so you got to kind of make the most of them when you do get the opportunity. .64 ball count. Let's see what Teddy's looking to do. I like kind of Teddy, like, this is kind of like a shot here that you can kind of bank at the ball and kind of jack up and just hope to hit it dead straight and just stop your cue ball more or less than anything. Now this isn't a good move right there because now he's opening up banks for Brandon's lanes. Those two balls were kind of topped on top of each other. Now they got an actual chance to be bankable. So Brandon's in a little bit of a pickle here. If it's me, I'm just going to use kind of a high center ball and just cross the ball over towards my side of the table a little bit. And possibly give him an option to bank at a ball as much as you don't want to. The other option is kind of cutting the 9 a little bit with a little bit of high left and just kind of letting it drizzle towards by the 2 and then let the cue ball kind of go to the side rail and then let the 9 kind of come back down to kind of be on top of each other where they're kind of straight on. Just about the speed of making sure you make a good hit. Just kind of like that in a way. That was perfect. One of the best outcomes he probably could have got right there. Okay, the 2-railer was sitting there, and he hit it really good. Good shot by Teddy. Teddy's playing for 1 ball here. Now, Teddy, in this spot now, he should start pushing the balls like he can just hit this kind of a little thick, just like that, but maybe a little bit thicker than that, and made the cue ball come back down table so that way he's not he's not able to be so close to the balls. All right, so Brandon got both them balls back and down. Well, he got one of the balls back down. So I like kind of just crossing this ball back up towards where those balls are at so that way they're not bankable. So you use a high and a little bit of left-hand English, and you just play the cut and let the cue ball drizzle. Not bad, but he didn't have as much cut on it and power. So Brandon's going to kind of get a free bank here. Now Brandon should use high and a little bit of left and just play the angle. Make sure you get a little through with the ball so the cue ball, when it comes off the side rail, is kind of dying. Just like that. A little more English possibly, or a little more cut. This is kind of a free 2-railer in a way, if he wants to. I don't like that. If I'm Brandon, I'm going to kind of might try to shoot in my hole here, realistically. High with a little bit of left-hand ball, play a 2-rail bank towards my hole, let the cue ball come out long a little, just like that, but he came a little short, which is kind of why he missed the ball too. But he was playing for the cue ball that way, so I guess all in all, it's okay. I don't like jacking up shooting this ball because you're going to, you could lose your cue ball and stuff like that. Okay, there you go. Didn't know if he was trying to jack up and 3-rail it out of there, or if he could have kicked it with a flat ball, in my opinion, and used a lot of running inside. If I'm Brandon, just thin it up towards that corner possibly. He hit it a little too thick, and now that ball's gonna go in. So he's gonna get a free 1-railer or 3. It's up to him, up to Teddy which way he wants to go about this. For me, I might go 1 rail and spin my cue ball 3 rails back around. Or I don't like the 1 rail just in case the side pocket comes into play. So he's just going to play safe because we know that's how Teddy's rolling right now. Teddy's not your aggressive type. He's not for sure, which is good. You know, sometimes it works out to people's favorites, but it also depends on your opponent too, right? So sometimes it can cost you and sometimes it can be beneficial. Okay, so see how Brandon responds to what kind of a shot he's going to come with here. Well, that's not too bad because he's bringing some balls back in play, knowing that he needs all of them. He kind of had to do it. Notice the jacking up. Jacking up can be bad at times, you know, so I'd rather be level and know which way I'm going through the ball. Okay. I thought he was going to hit it like hard or something. And I thought he was going to shoot it the 2 at first. Now, here's a good shot for Brandon. Like, Brandon's got a chance to try to bring some more balls. So Brandon really should go and shoot this one rail towards his pocket. Let the cue ball kind of go to the side rail and skip above the side pocket. I'm not so sure if the 9's in the way or not at this point. Or he can shoot the 9 ball 3 rails. I'm not sure if there's even the options right now, especially with the angles that he has. But let's see what he's going to do here. Yeah, I didn't like that because of the angle. It didn't look like it was going to get through long enough. That's the problem. So straight in shot. Good straight in stroke and slow rolled it in. Teddy's up 2-1. Nice game winner there. So now it's going to be Teddy's break, and Teddy's up 2-1. All right, so here he goes. He's going to break. Let's see how good his break comes out. Okay. Now he did give up a bank. Looks like Brandon's going to be able to cross this ball and tuck the cue ball underneath it and then maybe come to the backside of the 8. He doesn't even really need to come back to the backside of the 8. He really needs more to pay attention to the cue ball and the 14, making sure it's keeping the line of coming back across to make in his hole. Even if he stays on the bottom of the 14, if he makes it, he can possibly cut the 5 in, and then it'd be like straight pull from there on. But I kind of think he has to try to make this ball, so I'm wondering what he's doing right now. I don't know if he has to force it with like a center inside. Now, if he wants to shoot it hard, he could use center inside, pocket the ball, and kind of stop the cue ball right there. And then if he, worst case scenario, if he makes it, I mean, he can bank the 8 then next. Let's see if this ball, he did hit it good. Now, let's see what he elects to do. Does he go all out or does he play the safe route? I mean, mean, he could bank the 8 and kind of just push the cue ball up a little bit, which is what he's looking at. But let's say you don't make it or something. The game's going to play out a little bit longer for sure. So I guess the cut must be a little bit too big, and he's not really comfortable with cutting and possibly missing. So he didn't have enough speed on that ball for one. And Teddy's kind of looking at all the angles and seeing what shots possibly. I like this where he might possibly just kind of rub off the 5 and make it one less ball that goes towards Brandon's hole. Or, yeah, it's kind of like the only option really at this point. Another thing is making sure that the balls don't kind of wire up either also. Now, Brandon kind of got a bank here where he gets to push his cue ball kind of over to the side rail. So a little bit unlucky as far as where the cue ball landed. Let's see if he goes for it or not. I do believe he will. It's a little touchy because you want to make sure you don't hit the 2. And you don't want to come above that ball right there. But he did hit it good. So, but cue ball wasn't the best, right? Got away with one. Nah, he can. I don't think he's going to try to open the stack up whatsoever, but he might try to just kind of like push the 9 over. Let's see what he's thinking about. I like shooting the 9 into the 2, making it one less ball that goes towards Teddy's hole, and then letting the cue ball kind of come 2 rails back into the stack semi. And I think that's what he's looking at. So it's not bad. See, does he keep him from being able to see the 9, though? I don't think so. Now, if impossible, I would just, okay. Nothing wrong with that. Let's see what Brandon does. Brandon should come off the 7, a little bit of high right, or let's see if he's trying to shoot off the 14 or those 2 stripe balls. I like coming off the 7 and then kind of coming to the side rail and back in. Only problem with that is maybe possibly giving up the 2-ball bank and then letting your opponent put you back in the stack. So let's see what he does here. Okay. There's going to be a little bit of ticking now around the stack for now. Now, he might be able to shoot this 12-2 and kind of stop the cue ball right there. Let's see if he does that. Got to kind of hit it a little straight on to make it happen. But I don't know if 13's in the way. He's kind of jacking up, so it makes me think that he's going to shoot it. Okay, only problem here is now he gave up the 7. So he didn't really think about that part of it. I think the 7 banks. I would have liked to seen him jack up and kind of shoot it a little harder, but he did hit a good pace and still got there. Looking to see if the 5 goes off 12 and the 6. Now another good shot here possibly is banking this ball, keeping the cut on it, and then coming back into the stack. Now, can he hit it hard enough? Maybe not. But you don't really give up anything is the reason why I kind of like it. He's looking to leave him up table and kind of send some balls towards his hole. Now, let's see which way he's going. I think he's got to kind of overcut the ball, and I don't know if he can. I think the corner pocket will come into play up there. So he hit that one a little too thick, and he's going to give up the 9 here because he got the cue ball back over a little bit. So not the best from that spot. That was kind of like an unnecessary force there. I would have rather moved the 9 and the 2, and him being a kind of a guy that plays a little bit, potentially safe. I would have never thought for him to let this cue ball go and do that and open the balls when he could have moved the 9 and the 2 up table and kind of left it back down and balls kind of clumped up. Now let's see if Brandon kind of just shoots this ball and kind of just draw back a little. Oh, he got a little punch. Okay, he had a little angle. All right, so now this is another one of those you're going to use the high right ball. You use extreme right, so this way when you come through the ball, it slides up table easier this way. Just make sure you give yourself a shot on the 11. If you use high right and use enough right and you hit it slow enough, the cue ball comes out to where you can shoot the 7 the next shot. The 2 ball. All right, so he kind of got dead straight. I didn't really like that. That's why I like to go to the bottom side of the 2 and come back out, because you can still have that running English to run you up and give you the angles on the next cuts and all that. Yep, so he's going to probably end up playing for the bank up table now, I think. Ball counts. Brandon's got 5 balls and Teddy's got 1. So let's see. He's kind of looking to see if he can bank the 12 and kind of hold his cue ball, but I don't think that angle's there. So, and it would potentially, if he accidentally hits the 1 or the 4, then it's going to open up the stack and he misses the bank, then it leaves him in bad-ish. Okay, so he's going for the cut instead. This is another one of those. You're fully committed, so you need to make sure you make the shot. Made a good shot there. I do believe the 13 goes, so he's still going to get rewarded. And he should be able to come back to the 1, and he should win this game and make it hill-hill. Now, if he doesn't want to hit it soft, I would come 2 rails to the 3 ball, which would be the safer route to make sure you get the cut. Let's see. Okay, he's all right. Just shoot the 1 straight in. You only play him from 1 ball here. Sometimes people forget about the ball count and they're playing for another ball, and it might cost them the way that they shoot the ball. And that's what he was doing. He was already out. Or at least I believe he was already out. Maybe he did need it. All right, we got a hill match here. Hill, and Brandon Shuff is breaking.
While Brandon is racking, I'd like to remind everyone we have a merch store now, shop.railbirdstv.com, or you can just go down below the video and see our products for sale there. Get yourself some mugs, hats, t-shirt, hoodie. Support your favorite streamer.
Nice. Go check it out, folks. Railbirds TV doing big things. Helping the sport, growing it, giving y'all some good commentators and making some good product. And good people. Brandon's having a tough time with this racker. He's doing something to try to favor himself or something. I don't know. Taking a little too long to rack there. We haven't had that problem so far, but glad he finally got it done. All right, Hill. Brandon breaking. Let's see if he gets a better break. I know it's got to be on his mind that he scratched the first game, and that cost him the first game, so he's going to have to try to make sure he stays off the break. Now, I believe when he's coming out a little bit further than he probably should, but we'll see. I guess he's just trying to make sure he gets through the rack. It's not a bad break here. I think it's going to be kind of easy to get out of, like for Teddy, as far as he can shoot the 6 ball off the 7, kind of fat, and leave the cue ball kind of stuck in there. I believe that's what he's going to do. Let's see. Perfect. Only bad part is Brandon gets to bank that 7 ball. So he's got a big pocket. So this is one of those shots that I'm going to bank with some low left-hand English, and I'm going to let it turn so it goes to the long rail and possibly comes off the 9. Because if I make it, I don't have to hit it super hard. I just need to get the turn on the ball. So just in case I make it, I might get the chance to run all those balls. Let's see what he does. See, he didn't have no turn on the ball, but he's going to get rewarded. Wow, nice. Banked it straight into it. Wouldn't even thought that ball would have been able to bank right into it. Good shot. Now let's see what he does. Does he play the safe shot by cutting the 1, or does he go for the shot by shooting the 3 or the 6? I think the only choice he's got is really just the 1 or the 6 at this point. So let's see which way. He's playing the safe route. He's going to try to cut the 1. Ooh, lucky even. I think he overcut that ball. I think he might have gone rail first almost, it looked like. Now he should probably just come off the bottom of this 8 ball on the bottom part of the stack here and run the cue ball to the bottom rail and then back into the 1-6, to the back side of the 1-6. That's what I like. Just like that. Perfectly good. He's going to use a little bit of running English, and ooh, he's going to give up the 8 ball bank here. No, I didn't like that. So here's the other problem with that. He shot the shot, but now you block up the 1-6. So those are one of the things that you got to make sure you don't do when you run off those balls. If this ball goes in, Brandon might be in a little bit of trouble. No. Now let's see where he's going to keep this cue ball. Will he go up table? Will he? I would like to pull the cue ball up towards the second or third diamond so that way, you kind of, that way you don't have a chance to just kind of move those balls away. Just draw it, like grab, make the ball, but grab it and use a little bit of low right and just let it hug the rail up a little bit. More focus on hugging the ball, not letting it hit the rail. Just like that. Perfect. So here I'm going to kind of shoot the ball 2 rails and kind of shoot it a little hard and punch the cue ball to the bottom rail in hopes that I kind of open some balls up a little bit without getting too crazy. Bad part is if he's going to open up the 6 and 1, but it's kind of better than just leaving the ball kind of open also. Let's see. What's he trying to do here? Okay, so he went for the safer. He hit it slower so he didn't break up the 6 and the 1 and just kept that angle and pushed the cue ball over. But now, I mean, if I'm Brandon, I'm going to kind of come off that 7 ball and put the cue ball back on the backside of the 14 and the 10. So you just hit it thin and just use the angle. You don't use no English whatsoever. Just use the angle. Okay, he's more focused on opening his balls up, which I don't blame him, but this might not be the best spot to do it yet. This is why. Got lucky and got the cue ball back over. So now if I'm Teddy, there's a good shot here where you kick behind, you kick the backside of the 6 and the cue ball comes to the backside of right where the 1 and the 5 are. So all you got to do is just hit just deep enough of the backside of the 6. Any part of the top half of that ball. Okay, he's going to try banking the 12 into the 6. I don't know if I like this, depending on what happens with the 12. Oh, okay. Looked like he was firing at a bank or something at first. I think that was a missed opportunity to kind of trap his opponent with the kick there. Let's see what Brandon's looking at right about now. I think he's kind of looking at shooting the 14 off of the 10, but he knows that the 10's going to come back towards Teddy's hole, and that's the problem. Now, there's nothing wrong with it if he wants to shoot it hard enough and stick the cue ball right there, but okay, so I see him kicking at the 3, it looks like. It's not horrible. Looking in the stack to see if he can possibly play the 11-14. And if it's not, then I guess he's okay. So now he's kind of looking to shoot the 15 into the 6, I think, and cross it over and kind of stick the cue ball in the stack. I didn't really like that because if you don't cross it, then that's not the best of options there. And I think it's going to give Brandon an opportunity to bank the 3, or he can possibly push those balls open towards his hole. I like probably possibly just banking the 3, but he also needs to look and see if the 10 is wired off the 14 or the 11 and the 14 are kind of wired, like, you know, to where a person could shoot at their hole with no other choice. This is one of those shots, if you're going to go, I mean, could he just pull the cue ball back? Yeah, but I don't really care for that. Let's see. All right. I don't think he's got enough speed on this ball, though. Or does he? Ball kept coming. All right, let's see what happens now. Ball counts, let's see, ball count is 1-1. And looks like the 15-3 he's going to shoot. Let's see if he goes to the bottom side on the short rail side of the 3, or yeah, that's the right side. And he got lucky that he doesn't give up a bank, too, on the 14. I think that's what Brandon's looking at now. He's kind of studying to see what he wants to do. Not a whole lot of options, really. Just, you know, if you want to just kind of play safe, I would just kind of run off the 7 a little bit and just kind of leave the cue ball on the bottom rail here by his pocket. But that doesn't really accomplish much. The other problem is that if he can hit the bottom side of the 10, then I would just bank the 10 into that other side of that ball that's above the 13 and push them both away and just leave the cue ball down here. I don't know how much of the ball he can grab. I think he's looking to see if he can bank it towards his hole, which I don't think he can, but I do believe he can bank it to the backside of that 13 and push those balls away, which is what he should probably be looking at more. Instead, it looks like he's just going to push it. Yeah. So, only problem with this shot here is there's nothing that goes to Brandon's hole. So, if I'm Teddy did not really realizing that. Teddy's looking at the safety, but he's not looking at the fact he could just bank this ball and follow the cue ball up table, kind of. Yeah, he's kind of just looking for the safety. I didn't like that because he possibly could have opened up more balls to Brandon's hole that weren't going to Brandon's hole. Gonna just do the same thing, a little thin. Now, yeah, he doesn't really have much now. I mean, because he can't go forward now because you leave the angles for the 7 and the 15 up there. Only other choice is to either jack up and shoot it and draw the cue ball and take a free shot at trying to make the ball. But if you don't make it, at least make sure you hit it hard enough to where the ball's going back up table. You just make sure you put a little bit of cut on it so it doesn't come back involving the 13 ball as far as hitting straight back. So it's kind of you make sure you're doing one, you know, you just kind of got to use the angle more or less. He's looking at going up table. I mean, I couldn't do that. If he can't dig on the ball, then he shouldn't shoot at all. Now, if he wants to shoot the balls away, that's another thing. All right. Let's see which way Brandon's going to go about this. Okay, I like that. So now if I'm Teddy, I'm going to use a high right ball. I'm going to kind of cut the ball towards like the upper side of the table, but I want to keep the cue ball kind of straight coming back into the 1 and the 4. Just use an extreme amount of right so it keeps that angle to just go back into the 1-4 since it's a deep cut. It's all about how much of the ball you hit and pace and how much English. Ball can't come back down too far. Exactly, just like that. Perfectly good. Which now it's going to kind of put a little bit of heat on Brandon, because when he does do this soft hit, he's going to give up a bank more than likely. Okay. I thought he was going to have to come in a little deeper than that. Now if I'm Teddy, I'm going to shoot the 1 into the 4 and then let the 12 kind of drizzle over and then just stop the cue ball right there. Which is what he's, yeah, there you go. I think you need to push the cue ball up a little more, possibly just in case the 14 and the 10 banked where he could bank it, but I don't think he can. Gonna be a little bit of ticking here. Now I think Teddy's looking to see if this ball might possibly be wired, and obviously I guess it's not since he's not taking too much looks at it. Let's see. Hard ball to kick at in general, unless it was like aimed to the bottom side. So instead of moving these balls, he's supposed to be moving the 5-11. He's supposed to cut the 5-11 because those balls both go towards your opponent's hole. Unless he feels like if he gets on the right side of the 5-11, he can possibly make it. Now, that's a different story. Now, Teddy does have a free bank here. Let's see if he shoots at the free bank. This is definitely free. He's not shooting at it. I'm surprised. This is about as free as it gets. I mean, how could you not? Use a little bit of low right and make sure you just go right in between. Wow. Really surprised me. He's playing super safe here. Brandon's up 2-1 in the ball count. I guess he just thinks that just in case the ball stays down here, I guess that's his reasoning of why he didn't shoot it. But that's kind of one of the reasons why you shoot it a little harder. Now this will be a very long game, looks like. All the balls up table. So now there's a lot of distance. Now this is a good thing, right? So now all the balls are up there, so more reason of bringing the balls back down. I mean, more reason of why you want to make sure you always have your cue ball down here on this side of the table and leave those balls up table as much as you can. All right. Now I like just maybe cutting thin on the 5 and letting the cue ball just kind of drizzle down straight. Which is exactly what he's looking at right now, I believe. No English, just a little bit. There you go, just like that. Now it's all about, can he hold it? Like, can he, make sure that he just holds the angle the right way and the speed. I'd be surprised if he shoots at this ball this time. Okay, so he's going to shoot at it, but he's hoping to get behind those balls. This isn't a spot where I'm looking to shoot. Because if you come around those 3 balls, you're going to end up giving the 10 or the 12. And if you stay behind, you're going to give up the 2. So if anything, I don't know. I'm not sure what he's trying to do here in this spot. We'll see. I think he's starting to understand he's got to do a double take as far as that. Now what he could do is shoot it with high right and then keep the angle and let the cue ball maybe go to the side rail and hit the back of the 7, so that way if a person wanted to shoot at their hole, they come in and have to give up some balls. So we'll see. I think that's what he's going to do right now. Or he's going to use low. No. He definitely didn't even hit it hard enough. I didn't really like that. And he's going to give Brandon a shot here. So Brandon's going to shoot this 12 ball, come down off the side rail, long rail above the 13, and then back down so he has a bank on the 13. Should be just using a high ball here and not even worry about nothing else. Natural angle to come off the side rail. Might have overcut that ball. Well, as you can see, his pockets are a little bit forgettable. Or forgivable, I should say. Didn't hit that one with the best of strokes. Now, this is like a really good spot where he gets to shoot it with high and a lot of right. And he's going to have a kind of natural angle to probably run right into the 1, depending on how much he lets the cue ball run. And the best part is you can't sell nothing out unless you come around the stack, around all those balls, which is the 10 is the only one that you could sell out. So let's see what he does here in this spot. Using high and extreme right and just kind of cut a little bit and let the English take the ball. A little bit of run. Not enough English, but he played the cue ball good. I don't know if he can see this. I think he can shoot the 6. Only bad part come out of it. He's going to shoot the 6 and try to come off the 12 to stop the cue ball, kind of like that. But overcut it a little bit. I think he thinks that if he made it, maybe the 12 would have stopped the cue ball, so he had to do it that way. Now, this isn't an easy takeout. As you see, the pockets were a little bit bigger when that last ball was accepted. So now it makes it a little bit questionable about how to take this out, or if you even want to try to take it out. Maybe you'll just give it up. And that's what he's kind of looking at this point. Unless he can really just kind of jack up, and I don't think he can, though. Only other option here is using high with a touch of left-hand English, overcutting the 6 a little bit and double kissing to push it out. I probably would just give up the ball if I felt like I wasn't going to for sure get there. Okay, he's jacking up and he's going to use some. Now this, all right, so you got the double kiss, but let's see now. But he's going to also give up a shot. Not that it's the greatest shot, but sometimes, you know, it's not worth the wait or the risk. Because let's just say, like, if he was to make the 6 and come to the backside of the 13, it would just kind of make you sick if he ran out from there because you wouldn't give him a ball, let's just say. Okay, so he focused on just making the ball. Good shot in general, let's just say. I guess he's going to take his 1 and stop and move the balls away, I guess. Should be just focused on where the cue ball, just leaving the cue ball down there. This is going to be good because of the way that it's going to touch those balls. There it is. So it opened up some of those balls on his side. So he's looking to just kind of, this is like a spot where he's just going to clip the 11 as thin as he can, just keep the cue ball straight. Just like that, just making sure he can get through it. Now, this ball's bankable. Hit it kind of like straight on with a little bit of center right and let the ball kind of turn towards the hole. Don't put the cut on the ball at all. Good shot. Just like that. This one I like him to. Let's see how he shoots at this if he does. Now, this one could turn out bad if he tries to bank at the 1. Just depending on how he hits it and what kind of English he uses. I don't, problem is that 8 ball, or what, I think it's the 8 up there or the 6, it can kind of stop the cue ball. So he's got to really make sure he kind of hits it thin if he's going to shoot it. I don't really like it though. I would probably avoid it. If anything, I would bank this 10 ball towards my hole and play my cue ball into the 12. And I think that's what he's going to try to do. Yep, just like that. You don't have to make it. Just put it down there. It's another ball in play, and take another ball out of play that's on Brandon's side of the table. Ball count now is 3-3, each playing for 5. Now it looks like Brandon's going to try to kick at this ball. That's not bad, so long as he makes sure he's just playing the cue ball to sit there too, which is exactly what he did. Now I kind of like this spot where Teddy should kick 2 rails behind this ball. Oh, he could go the 2 rails too. 2 rails ain't bad. You're going to have to use a high and a little bit of inside to push the cue ball through. Oh, he overcut the ball. Now this is why that shot's no good if you don't make sure you hit it fat enough. You were almost better off just playing the 2-rail kick and just hoping to push balls over to your side, let the cue ball go up the table and leave 2 balls down here. But now, Brandon can bank this ball, hold his ball, and possibly make this ball and then make a couple more afterwards. So right here, I just hit the ball kind of head on, center ball, no English, and just kind of shorten it up a little bit. We shortened it up a little too much. Now let's see how he does this. If he can overcut this ball, I would say overcut at the ball and send it back towards your side of the table. Let the cue ball go up table, 2 rails, and just leave position. Instead, he's going to just kind of roll it behind it and just kind of kick and just. Yeah, that's not what you should have done there, because now you're leaving Brandon a chance to make these balls. So now Brandon's going to look at this banking that 14 ball into the 1 or the 13 and just play the angle of the ball banking into that ball. Speed a little bit. There it is. Yep. I've seen it. Very good shot there. And that's a game changer, all because he kicked and hit it so hard and he hit it so thin. Now that was a poor shot there by Brandon. Bad stroke, hit it a little fat, and the ball kind of died off on him. As you can see, he really cheats the pocket here if you look at it. He kind of got up, and then when he got back down, I guess he's going to try to cut at this ball. Good shot. Ooh, almost got a bad roll there. Almost ran off of it. Just going to thin off this ball, trying to bring him back down here and put distance. Now, I like this shot for Teddy. Play the 2-rail bank towards your hole, high with a touch of left, and let the cue ball kind of stop when it hits the backside of that 12. 6-3 ball count. Yep, just like that. Might possibly make it. No, just a little long, but that's okay. Open some balls up and push some ball, put a ball by his hole. This is one of those shots you're going to kick behind it with a high with just a touch of right and just kind of kick bank it out towards your side. Now he's going to kick from the backside of it instead, so he's going to use low outside, kick and stick. Now, didn't hit it the best. And that's what happens, like, sometimes if you don't hit that shot good, that cue ball runs through. And so, like, let's just say in this spot, let's just say he was able to bank this ball and make a ball. Well, kind of from a careless, not getting through the ball, more or less. Hit that bank pretty good. Let's see if it holds or if it goes a little wild. Okay, hit it good and went in. Another good shot, another good bank. We got a 6-5 ball count now. Teddy's showing some heart. He's looking at banking this 3 rails. I don't know if I like that. That's the more right play there. Alright, so he's got to be a little careful about how he hits this. Hit it kind of a little fat, but it's okay. I like to overcut this 2 into the 11 and kind of bring my cue ball with some low left and kind of come off the side rail and bring it back towards Brandon's hole. And maybe possibly open up a few of those balls just to kind of open up my bank lane a little. I hit it too hard, but just a little overcut and just kind of simplify, just kind of, there you go. But he hit it a little too full, so he didn't open it up as much as he wanted to. But he was focusing on the cue ball, so that's okay. Touchy shot there. So this is where it's going to get a little bit risky. Okay. Oop, cue ball. Close. All right, so let's see what Brandon does here. I like kind of kicking to the backside of the 7, so that way if you do make the 11, you don't, like, there you go. So you don't scratch on accident if you do hit straight at the 11. And I think he got a little roll where he did block him from seeing the 11 also, so that's another good thing. No, I'm not sure what he's going to do here. I don't like doing what he's trying to do right here, more or less. He should just kind of thin off the 7 and leave it back there until he gets in a better spot to come out of it. There you go. So now Brandon's probably going to do the same thing, and you're just hoping you get to a good angle where you can come off of it one rail and leave him, you know, leave a better layout of where you put the cue ball. So now he could kind of come out of there because he's got a natural more, like he can come straight down below the 11. Problem is he's going to probably end up giving up a bank on the 11, which is a part that sucks. Like, you know, but sometimes you want to come out of it just because you can at the moment. Because it could possibly, like, okay, so he had it. No, so this is okay. Because I thought he was going to come deeper below the 11. Now, at least if the guy makes the bank, at least he's got to hit it a little good and everything. So he should definitely be going for the bank. I'm thinking he's going to use high with a touch of inside. He could also shoot at 3 rails and kind of hold the cue ball, or just kind of push the cue ball straight through, which that looks like probably the easier shot. See, he hit that one pretty bad right there. Yep, that wasn't the best of his shots. Not sure what Teddy's looking at right now, but we're going to find out. If he can kick below, I would use a lot of high left and spin, kick it, and let it bank towards my side of the pocket. And the reason being is because see how slow he kind of hit it? So he kind of gives up a bank and a wet. All right, no, I got over far enough. Didn't think it was going to get that far over. Now, if I'm Brandon, I'm going to hit this 11 kind of thick. Or he can just push it and wedge it in that corner and then let the cue ball kind of fall towards the top rail. So you just put a little bit of angle on the ball. Not a whole lot, just a little. Oh, he tried banking it. So he's just trying to place it back on his side of the table. I think he's going to go for this bank again. Ball sitting kind of in a funny spot. So I think he's going to use outside then instead, I guess, and cross it. Now that I didn't like. I mean, I'm not sure if that's, I'm pretty sure that wasn't in his plans there. I think he was more or less trying to put both of them parallel on the top rail and just kind of hit it a little too thin. He's going to use a little bit of low inside and just kind of drag the ball to go over towards his hole. Problem with that shot is he didn't get enough speed on it. So now, possibly give up a free cross corner. We'll see. Oh, Brandon just shot that ball right in his hole. He's trying to overcut it, I guess, and bank it. I'm not sure why he didn't bank that towards his pocket. He could have used a little bit of English and got it done, in my opinion. Oh, so Teddy hit. I want to say he was trying to hit the 7 and didn't, so now he's going to give up a bank on the 2 to Brandon. Guess he was returning the favor. We got a 6-6 ball count. This would be huge if Brandon can make this bank. I'll try to use a little bit of center and just kind of stopping the cue ball there. Yeah, more than anything, the stop of the cue ball to kind of tree top your opponent. So Teddy's a little jacked up, so you're going to have to use a little bit of high and a touch of inside. But this is where you kind of aim about half ball and use a little bit extra high and a little more, a little less inside, but not as much. Maybe a tip. So you reach over a little bit further. There you go. So you got enough of the ball to get it. I'm trying to. All right. This isn't such a bad spot. Like, you can kick bank this ball towards Teddy's hole. I don't mind it here because and you can even hit it a little wide. So you hit it with a little bit of speed, but a little wide, low, and a touch of outside. All right, he's playing the safer route, so he's just going to try to run up on the 7. Now he gives up the 7 ball bank. Speed control isn't being very well for him right now, and the angle that he's hitting the balls. A little short on the bank there. I didn't, you can kind of tell by where the cue ball landed there. He's just using a little soft cut soft cut cross bank. Not really worried about trying to make it, but just problem with that is where he left the cue ball. Now he's giving up a bank. It's not the easiest bank, but kind of an overcut. Hit half the ball high with a touch of inside and let it open up, and kind of make sure you let the cue ball hit the rail on the short rail, and you don't hit it hard so the ball doesn't kind of stay there. Gotta hit it a little full though. Okay, he had the pace, and that's what mattered. So that's how that ball opened up and how he got it to where he got it. Now, if I'm Teddy, you should probably scratch with this ball. I guess either fling it off the table or scratch. I don't know if they're playing the Derby City rules, I think. If they are, you can just call the scratch. Guess he didn't want to scratch. I think that was a spot where he could have used a scratch there. I guess he didn't want to give up the ball in hand shot where the guy can make a, trying to make the head ball from being spotted and stuff like that, and being that the 7's there. Now Brandon should be kind of cut banking this towards the side, yep. Teddy should just put it right back on his side of the table and leave the cue ball right there. Oh, let's see what Brandon does. He's going to cross the ball. Problem with the crossing the ball is that cue ball right there. I had to come rail first. Yeah. That's why I like to come rail first. See how he ends up giving up a 3-railer there. Focus on just using center and a touch of right hand English and hit it straight into that angle. No speed. Not sure why he hit it so soft when there's nothing that can really go wrong if you don't. So now Teddy's kind of got to go for the shot in a way. I would use high and a touch of left. I mean, he can shoot at 2 rails, or if he's going to try to cut it. He's going to play the safe route. They won't arrest Teddy for going for too much. Teddy does go for some things. I think he just goes for them in the wrong spot sometimes. I think when he should go, he doesn't go, and when he shouldn't go, he does go. Same thing, just kind of, let's see if he's going to play it back. So he played it up towards that side. I never really like to go that way, and the reason being is right here. 3-reeler. There's not much that can go wrong. So, you kind of just stun the ball. You can hit this ball. You don't have to use English or nothing. You just hit it with center ball and just hit it into the pace of the angle of the ball to go into the 3 rails. This is all pace. I mean, yeah. This ball looks like it might open up. Nope. He used a little bit of too much inside. A little cut, too much. Now, this one might go 3 rails too. Don't put as much pace on it. I don't really like going 1 rail at this. I'd rather go 3. Just below the side pocket. Don't hit it super hard. Just enough to where it's going around the table. And just punch the cue ball. There you go. I think he ginned this one. I think that's good. So we got a winner, Brandon Shuff. He advances. Brandon wins 3-2. Thank you for checking out the Railbirds TV. Please like, share, and subscribe. We'll be back in about another hour. In about 45 minutes, we'll be back with another match. So stay tuned if you like, and keep watching.
Yeah,
and check out all the merch.
Thank you guys for watching, and I want to remind everyone, Tony Chohan, he has a up-and-coming YouTube channel. He has a bunch of videos on there. He's doing commentary on his own matches and some other cool stuff, so go check out Tony's channel.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
All right, see you guys soon, and about 45 minutes for the next match. We're not sure what it is yet, but it'll be a good one. See you guys.
Thank you.